Welcome. Today's practice is yin yoga for Vishuddha, or the throat chakra. And I invite you right now to either lay down on your mat or take a seat. I just want to do a little bit of an introduction to explain why I chose this particular practice and give a little bit of more information with regards to Vishuddha chakra. So I invite you to close your eyes, either laying down or sitting up, and just begin to allow the words just kind of seep into you to understand what the purpose of this particular practice is. So get comfortable. And as you're doing so, right after that, we'll start to move into the practice itself. For this particular practice, you would benefit from either having a block. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a pillow or cushions from your couch or your bed, just enough to elevate your hips later on in the practice. And you may wish to have a cushion to sit on, such as the one that I have, or a chair for this particular practice. So either laying down for a moment or getting into a comfortable seat so that you can start to just close the eyes and start to use your ears, which are associated with Vishuddha chakra. Begin to bring your attention to the area of your throat, right at the front of your throat, kind of where the notch in your neck is, maybe slightly higher. Recognizing this as the fifth primary energy center in your being. Vishuddha, translated, references being pure, so a sense of especially being pure, a sense of purity. And that is translated from the Sanskrit word Vishuddha, or sometimes Vishuddhi. And Vishuddha, it's said, can be impacted by excessive stress and fear, which then leads to illness and unwell, both physically and mentally. And even in the Western world, we know this relationship to stress and being unwell. So we're simply looking at this from a yogic perspective in terms of negative energy, stress, fear, and anxiety contributing to our unwellness. When I'm feeling blocked in any of my energy centers, I visualize this or experience this almost like static from a radio when it's not coming in clear, or a grainy television screen when the reception is poor. And that's how I interpret or sort of understand my energy centers when they're blocked. So maybe you're able to perceive this as well, if not, simply inviting you to be open to the idea of. And recognizing that this practice seems appropriate today, especially given the ongoing lockdowns that we're all that we are experiencing, and the fear and anxiety and the uncertainty associated with these lockdowns. It's just an appropriate time to offer up this practice, I believe. When Vishuddha is blocked, we do feel more unwell. We lack the ability to speak our truth with a sense of balance, with a sense of integrity. And we actually can contribute to our own happiness and wellness and purification by transforming how we relate to the world or interpret the world. We can transform this experience that we're all undergoing right now, transform it into wisdom and learning. But to do that, we need to be able to access and open Vishuddha. Our success and our failures are said to be contingent upon or dependent upon the health and the openness of this particular energy center. So is it clear and pure, or is it polluted and clogged? Are we helping, or are we hindering ourselves? Let's proceed with this practice by encouraging yourselves to remain as a neutral observer to the flow of the energy, especially in the area of your throat, and recognize that this chakra or energy center is the bridge to our higher energy centers in the area of our forehead and our crown, Ajna and Sahasrara. So recognizing that we can potentially unblock and affect the optimal strength and purity of those other two chakras. Our throat chakra is related to our ability to show and express our inner world to our outer world, And it's also related to our ability to receive and interpret our outer world with purity, meaning the ability to convey and receive purely, not layering it with our opinions or our preconceived judgments. This is a sign of a purified Vishuddha chakra. And likewise, the inability to convey our inner world or receive our outer world without judgment, fear, and anxiety is an indication that this energy center may be blocked or obstructed, like a radio station that's not coming in clear. And fear is a contributing factor to the blockage of this energy center. Fear is associated with these feelings of uncertainty that we're all going through right now in these uncertain times. We're unfamiliar with the virus, the mutations, the vaccinations, and the long bouts of isolation. All of these are potentially impacting both our mental and our physical health. And it may feel as if both the inner and the outer world right now are in chaos. But we can discover a way to observe what is occurring, what is new, what is happening. We can discover that with more openness, and we can help release these feelings of fear, anxiety, and anger with this practice. The future may seem very uncertain. It may seem very difficult to visualize, and the path may seem unclear. We may interpret what is happening right now as wrong or bad, and because it's different or unfamiliar from what we're used to. We may find it helpful to align with the idea that the world and ourselves are always evolving, that we are, as the universe is, in a constant state of growth and evolution. Growth and evolution, by their nature, imply change. And as we know, change is the only constant. If you're laying down on your mat, I invite you to come to a seated position. And we'll be beginning today's practice for Vishuddha, the throat chakra, with the Gayatri mantra. If you're familiar with it, I invite you to chant along, because the chanting is actually a really great way to start to ignite Vishuddha chakra. There are other chants you can do, and we will be finishing with the bija mantra, the seed mantra for this particular chakra at the end of this practice. This practice will be focused, as you know, on the area of the throat. So we'll be doing various movements with the neck, and we will be doing practicing a few asanas specifically related to Vishuddha, the throat chakra, and then finishing with the bija mantra hum to conclude our practice. So now that you're comfortable seated, inviting you to close your eyes once again. Begin to bring your awareness to the area of your throat, the area of your neck, and deeper in your throat. And if you're not chanting along with me, maybe humming will also help to stimulate Vishuddha chakra. And if you are chanting along with me, do it with full vigor and don't hold back, really igniting our throat energy center. The Gayatri mantra is named after the goddess Gayatri, and it is meant to illuminate us and purify and release blockages. Remembering it doesn't matter what you sound like. And we'll start with one long Om, uniting us with the universe. Taking a deep breath in. Allow yourself to feel that reverberating, that vibration in the area of your throat. You may even notice it on the palate of your mouth. There's a secondary chakra there. So maybe as I chant the Gayatri mantra, you can follow along. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Savituvarinyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Savituvarinyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Savituvarinyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Savituvarinyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Savituvarinyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om. Begin to feel that vibration, the sensation of the energy in the area of the throat. Keeping your attention focused on the area of the throat. Begin some very full circular rotations of the head, being very careful on the back sweep. It doesn't have to be dropping back. We just want to feel this expression of openness in the area of the throat. We start first moving in the yin direction, so allow your left ear to come down towards the left shoulder. Keep your shoulders relaxed and start to slowly circle the head around very slowly, keeping the focus on the area of your throat, specifically the front of the throat, more superficially, and perhaps feeling into that vibration moving into the back of the throat, connecting to the area of the spine. Eyes are closed, moving very slowly, focusing on the area of the throat. Continue in the same direction. Finishing this circle that you're on and coming back into a neutral position, keeping the eyes closed, keeping that internal gaze. Now begin moving the head in the opposite direction, counterclockwise, the right ear dropping down towards the right shoulder, and then circling down and around. Allow your breath to be natural. No need to coordinate anything. Just feeling into the sensation of this movement in the area of your throat. Focus the mind. Last time, circling around. And coming back to center. The eyes are closed. Keep your attention focused on the area of the throat. Perhaps noticing vibrations, a warmth, a tingling. For the next movement, it looks like this. You're going to let your chin move over to the left, keeping it parallel to the floor. And then just a little bit backing off and then to the left again. So it's like two movements. The second one you'll hold for a couple more seconds. And then come across through center. Keep your attention the whole time on the front of the throat. Moving over to the right. And then release it slightly. And then back to the right. Hold here for a few more seconds. Now simply let your head from this position drop slightly back. Keep your attention on the throat. And then tilt it just a little bit more. Bring the chin back to parallel. Shift your chin over to the other side again, looking over towards the left shoulder. And now tilt your head back. Focus on the area of the throat. Release slightly and then tilt it back again. Holding here. You're holding the pose, but you're not holding the breath. Release the chin back down to parallel. Come back to center. Then slightly tilt the chin up. Focusing more on the chin tilting up versus dropping the head back. And then tilt it up just a little more. Holding here. Focus on the throat. And we'll do that sequence 2 more times. Bring your chin back to parallel. Looking over to the left. Release slightly. And then over to the left again. Hold here. Relax the shoulders. Slowly bring your chin back to parallel or to center and then over to the other side. Keep your focus on the front of the throat. Release slightly and then back over to the right again. Hold here. Shift your chin over to the left again. Now lift your chin up, tilt your head slightly back. Release slightly, and then again. Chin back to parallel, sweep it over to the other side. Lift your chin, tilt your head back slightly. Release, and then tilt back again. Chin back to parallel, bring it back to center. Now lift your chin, open your throat. Release slightly, lift again. Focus on the front of the throat. Come back to center. Last time through, over to the left. Release slightly and over to the left again. Come back through center and then over to the right. Release slightly, over to the right again. Come back through center, over to the left. Lift your chin. Release slightly, lift your chin again. Come back through center, over to the right. Lift your chin. Release slightly, lift your chin again. Chin back to parallel, back to center. Lift your chin. Release slightly, lift your chin again. Focus on the throat. Release back to center, eyes closed. Just feel into the area of the throat. Feeling for the subtle energy, vibration, warmth, humming. Now allow your left ear to tilt down towards your left shoulder. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Don't force. And don't lift your left shoulder up, just wherever it goes. Back to center, over to the right. Back to center, to the left. Center, right. Center, left. Center. Continue. About 3 seconds each side. Allow your movement to be fluid. Keep your attention focused on the throat, the area of Vishuddha. And if it's comfortable, you can go a little faster. Last time each side. Come back to center. Keep your attention on the throat, focusing the mind on this area of the body. Now take your chin and jut it slightly forward and up. So we're focusing on the front of the throat without having to implicate our cervical spines, opening the throat, maybe even taking the chin and jutting it a little more forward, lifting the heart, throat space open. Focus on the throat. Bring your head back to center. Slowly opening your eyes. And let's make our way onto our hands and our knees. If you cannot come onto your hands and your knees, you can simply remain seated and move through this sequence of cow and cat, just moving that energy through our spine, warming up the spine. But if you're able to make it onto your hands and knees, I invite you to do so. Of course, fingers spread nice and wide, knees positioned underneath the hips. Start to slowly find a rhythm in the spine, pressing the floor away as you arch the back, and drawing the throat forward and the collarbones forward as the sitting bones lift. Find a nice fluid movement for this. Generally, an inhalation as the throat open. Exhalation as you round the spine. Know that we're moving the energy all along the spine, all along Sushumna, our main energy channel. Helping to open energy pathways. And on the next inhalation, as the throat comes forward, on the exhalation, pull the navel to spine. And we'll start to add in the lion's face or a lion's roar. So inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, stick out your tongue and say, ah, as your breath empties out of the body. So inhale. And exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale, stick out your tongue, round your back. Continue. Keep your attention now on the throat. Two more. Inhale. Last one. And back to center. Either coming to kneeling or staying on your hands and your knees. Keep your attention focused on the area of your throat. If you're still on your hands and knees, please come to seated. With your hands on your knees, just gently take your hands around your kneecaps and lift your heart. Ensure that your spine is dignified. Now soften the shoulders, soften the hands. Inhale. And as you exhale, looking over towards the right. Eyes are closed. Keep your attention on the throat. Keeping the spine uplifted. And maybe finishing this twist out of the right corners of your closed eyes. Feel free to add an additional portion to this twist, maybe walking your hands slightly to the right. And slowly back to center. So my Vishuddha is clearly blocked or has some blockages. Anytime we have some congestion in our throat, it's a sign of Vishuddha being blocked or being... Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, rotate your head to the left. So your chin is parallel with your left shoulder, eyes closed. And perhaps proceeding through that twist, maybe a little bit more, walking your hands to the left. Finishing the twist out of the left corners of your closed eyes. And release slowly back to center. Eyes remain closed, focusing on the area and the energy, the subtle energy in the area of the throat. Eyes gently opening. Please make your way onto your back and have either your block or bolsters handy. If you have a full shoulder stand practice and you know that you can do that safely, you are invited to do that instead of this modification. But the rest of us will be performing the modified version to continue the activation of Vishuddha. So either using your bolster or a block coming onto your backs. Start with your feet close towards your glutes. Keeping your attention on the front of the throat, kind of where that notch is in your neck, that deep area of your throat. Taking your block or your bolster and placing that underneath the back of your pelvis to elevate your hips. Roll your shoulder blades under. Keeping the center of the head on the ground so that that chin stays at about the same height as your forehead. Begin to draw one knee in and then the other. Use your abdominals to do that safely. Extending your left leg up and then your right. Let your legs draw toward you slightly. Eyes are closed. Feeling that energy moving through your feet, through your spine, up into the area of your throat. Or simply keep your attention on the area of your throat for its continuous arousal. No particular way to breathe. Allowing that throat area to be the primary focal point. Relaxing into this shape as much as you can. Vishuddha, focus on the throat. Vishuddha. The last 30 seconds, focus on Vishuddha. Begin to slowly bend your knees. Plant one foot on the floor and then the other. Remove your props. Release your hips. Remain still, focusing on Vishuddha. Remembering that where the mind goes, that energy flows, that connection is there. Begin to roll over onto your right side and help yourselves back up to seated. Closing your eyes. Keep your attention focused on the area of your throat. Ensure that you're in a comfortable position for meditation and chanting. Please close your eyes. Guide the awareness down into the area of your throat. And in this area, begin to visualize a flower with 16 petals on its outside circular round edge. Beginning to visualize the symbol of Vishuddha Chakra. in the center of the circular portion, begin to visualize a downward pointing pyramid or a triangle. And inside that triangle, another circular shape like a moon. Seeing this symbol clearly, begin to see it in the color of aquamarine blue. Allow all of your attention, your energy to focus on this area, visualizing the aquamarine blue of this symbol. 16-petaled flower, circular in nature, like a sun. Continuing to infuse that area, feeling that aquamarine color begin to seep out and permeate your body. So that you become engulfed in this healing aquamarine color. Pure. Completely bathed in this pure aquamarine blue. Bathing in its light. You are now completely absorbed in this color. You are one with this color and its energy. Keeping the attention on the area of the throat as we begin to chant the seed mantra, the bija mantra for Vishuddha. It's hum, H-A-M. Taking a breath in. Please continue. You may speed it up or slow it down. It may be a higher pitch or a lower pitch, whatever resonates with the area of your throat. We'll continue for 5 minutes. Hum. 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 Please finish. Remain with your eyes closed, feeling the effects of this chanting meditation. First on the area of Vishuddha, and secondarily on the rest of your being. Take a conscious breath in. And release. Notice the effects of this yin meditation, this yin practice for your throat chakra, Vishuddha. I invite you, if you feel inspired, to continue to meditate, or take a few minutes now to lay down on your mat in the shape of Shavasana and allow this practice to just integrate into every cell in your body. Thank you for joining me. If you found this helpful, there is a blog that has the introduction and the explanation of this particular practice, and you can find that on yogawithcheryl.net, and it will also link to this particular practice once again. Thank you.